alternate universes. It's a messy topic, but a fun one nonetheless. An alternate universe, or an AU, is something I've always wanted to engage in, but never became obsessed with something so much that I could write a whole new franchise over. That was until now. For those who don't know, an AU in regards to fiction is essentially taking an existing franchise and writing a new line of existence from your own perspective. It's the fans taking the reins over something they enjoy. And for me, that franchise is South Park. I know I don't seem like a South Park fan, but this is genuinely my comfort show, and I would disintegrate if anything happened to it. Before we get in the video, we have to do the obligatory intro, so here we go. Welcome back to the channel, Dex Club, and an even bigger welcome to the newcomers who definitely want to be part of the Dex Club, say yes, but you sweet newcomers may be wondering how to do that. Well, it's simple. Just press that big, obvious button that says subscribe, and maybe consider joining my Patreon or my Ko-Fi, or follow both. I mean, there are free options. It would be kind of silly not to do it. Especially when paid members get to see videos before they even get to the channel. You get free art from me, and you can literally commission me for as little as $5. But if you don't feel like doing that, consider following me on Instagram, Kara, or TikTok, where I happily reply to DMs and I post more frequently since it takes 90% less time to post on there than to make a video here. Okay, back to AUs. I want to put a disclaimer about this entire AU that I've poured my heart into. I am not Matt and Trey. I never will be able to replicate such flawless creation. With that being said, I don't write like them, I don't talk like them, I don't draw like them. Everything in this AU is in my style in every way possible. I don't cuss myself, so I don't write cussing into my story along with any vulgar and explicit content. It's just not what I like to produce, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy South Park in its entirety. All the characters are based off the original as closely as possible, and I did my absolute best to keep everything, and I mean everything, accurate to the original franchise with my own little spin on it. Also, I know that a good amount of my audience is young and impressionable, so I won't be making content that is suggestive or intended for an older audience. This series is meant for everyone to enjoy, however there will be warnings and disclaimers on the more mature-leaning pieces of this AU. I came across some nasty stuff online as a kid, and I don't want to be the reason for that to continue for the next generation. Now that my disclaimer is out of the way, let me brief you all on the story. Welcome to South Park High, a very original name, I know. This story will follow the main cast of kids as they begin their freshman year of high school. The characters will navigate relationships, interests, trials, and changes in their daily lives in this slice-of-life dramedy. The story will not follow the canon of the post-COVID specials because I found a good middle between the good and bad ending that I personally really like and I have already written. So every detail in freshman year will apply throughout the next 4 in-universe years to make my envisioned ending come true. If I feel it necessary, or I just get a little too involved, I may add a self-insert or just never tell anyone that it's a self-insert. Mostly because I think it would be funny, but also this is my AU and I can do what I want with it. But that fact opens another door that I think everyone will be interested in. I will be taking background character submissions. If you have a South Park OC or a self-insert and you would like to show them off, send their character sheet to me and the information as well via email or DMs on any of my platforms, link in my bio and about page, and I will guarantee your character will make an appearance with your page credit at the end of each comic strip they are featured in. This is completely free, no fees required, and I really hope you all get a kick out of this feature. Okie dokie, let's get into my freshman year designs. Now naturally I started with Stan, who deserves the world, and Wendy should go missing. So I kept most of Stan's original clothes. I wanted to show the boys doing that thing where they mature slower and don't see any reason in updating their wardrobe other than them just growing as humans do. The biggest thing that I changed was I gave Stan a hoodie under his jacket and I specified his shoes to be high-topped Converse. Then I added notes and doodles. I don't trust that everyone can read my handwriting, so I'll read it for you. Still on the football and baseball team, outgrowing old clothes, Randy and Sharon agreed Randy will give Stan guitar lessons to bond. Plays a lot of video games, and he's in a quiet relationship with Wendy. Now I don't want to give away the story, so I'll let you theorize what all my notes mean or reference until you see the actual comic come out. My reasoning here is Randy will start to worry about Stan getting older and pushing him to the side. He's not a little boy anymore. He doesn't need to rely on Randy that much. Not like he ever did anyways. So since Randy is a guitar player, it would make sense for him to put in some effort there, even if it is just an excuse since Stan very clearly knows music and how to play. He does have a band after all. I think he would be in sports mostly because he's just expected to be in them, and he does enjoy the physical activity, but it's not something that he intends to pursue. Kyle. Yeah, he had a vertical growth spurt. He's going to be tall and awkwardly lanky for a bit before he starts to fill out in the later high school years. I again kept most of his original outfit. I just took some liberties and drew pockets all over him, all of which are filled with something. Maybe sand, erasers, pot. No, that's just a joke. Anyways, because he is growing so fast, I'd assume he would just wear other pieces to cover up how small his pants are on him until he can get new clothes. He's all leg. Also, big shout out to my bestie Lemonade for helping me pick out doodles for my little ginger snap. I didn't even think to add his poster until Lemon said it, so all thanks to my buckaroo. Now to read his notes. Center position on basketball team, focused on grades for sport eligibility and honor system. He already has flawless grades, but he cares a bit more now since it was so hard to get on the basketball team. He somehow also is a TikTok addict, and he has to help Ike with homework and projects since he's in the 4th grade now and most likely has Garrison as his teacher. Again. And he is also outgrowing old clothes, pants especially. Oh, also, I didn't draw his freckles because I intended on coloring those, but I didn't color any of this art here for the video, and I probably won't have these colored until they are posted on my Patreon, Ko-Fi, and Instagram, which you should follow. Mr. McCormick. I think of him as the scrappy kid for a while. He's a bit slow in his growth, but he'll get there, and when he does... I'm joking. Or am I? I guess you'll have to subscribe and follow all my socials to find out. Okay, I'm done self-promoting, I swear. So Kenny was interesting to do because I wanted his clothes to be loose hanging on him. Like his clothes as a kid were purposely bought very large so he couldn't virtually outgrow them until he was old enough to handle it on his own. So his parka and pants would be super big, and he uses like a shoelace to keep his pants secured on him. Then I gave him this scarf mask, as most fans do, to keep his schnoz warm, because he can't afford medicine or Sprite. Then his shoes are those Walmart work shoes, the ones. Then, of course, his doodles are references to past and future aspects of his life and character. Now let's get into the notes. Originally had clothes too big for him, gets hurt a lot, growing a mullet, like angel hair noodles, melted butter, waterfall, glorious prince, charming hair, still on the basketball team, debating on quitting. Learned anime art style to do commissions and uses the money primarily on Karen. Learned how to do girls' hairstyles for Karen. And he has genuine good grades and interest in science, but he's unable to dedicate the time. Lots of lore here that'll be expanded on in the series, so Okay, Eric actually ended up being my favorite. I loved drawing him and deciding his fate. This must be what it's like to be Mr. Parker. So Eric started wearing different clothes in the later seasons of South Park, and that influenced the design I gave him here. He still wears the red jacket, but I gave him what will be a dark gray t-shirt, a belt, and some denim pants. I can't remember what those shoes are, but they're probably Nikes. I gave him a little acne spots, but they look like beauty marks because of how chunky my pencil is, and I couldn't be bothered to go back and fix it. Also, I brought back Clyde Frog. I know there was a whole episode dedicated to him getting past the stuffed animals and maturing, I suppose, but I personally have experience going back to old toys and having them around as more of decoration pieces or just something to hold on to for sentimental value. So Clyde Frog is beat up, but still kicking. Now for the notes. Football lineman. This was a decision my dad made with me. I will not be arguing this point. It is canon. He has a fake GoFundMe titled "Help Me Pay for My Cat's Medication." There is no medication, but there is a cat for fake pictures. He streams on Twitch, severe acne breakouts that he has medication for, collecting and reselling shoes, you know how it is. Secretly brings Clyde Frog to school, then of course, hooked on G Fuel because Prime was already used in canon and I don't want to grab the low-hanging fruit. I'm a writer, I can figure things out for myself. Also, I don't like the heterochromia fanon. I can't explain why, but I don't have anything other to say than I just don't like how it looks, so I gave Eric regular brown eyes. The creme de la creme. Butters Leopold Stotch. I have debated having some characters call him Leo. Those who are unfamiliar with him are bored of the nickname, I suppose. I just think it's cute. Dear Matt and Trey, if you ever watch this video, first off, hi, I love you. And secondly, if you decide to put me in an episode, if I ever interact with Butters, I'd like to call him Leo if that's alright. And it's just like I said, I just think it's cute. There are no other thoughts in the noggin. Thanks. I gave Butters his scar, again, like most fans do. It makes sense. Don't ask why I didn't give Kyle his human centipede scars. We're going to pretend that never happened to my poor Kyle. I made Butter's hair look fluffy. I feel like he would have fluffy hair and more of a squishy face shape for a bit before he gets sharper features. He's got a baby face for a bit. Then I made his jacket one of those track jackets, like a windbreaker or whatever it is, and some pants of the same nature. Not the same color though, because ew. Once again, I believe he's wearing Nikes, or maybe he's wearing Reeboks. I can't remember. If you catch a glimpse of the reference, tell me in the comments what shoes I gave Butters. Then I added some of those beaded bracelets on his wrist that I explain in the notes, so here we go. In culinary class, theater kid on the color guard team makes Hello Kitty bracelets for himself but also sells them at school. Strong woman consistently checks in on him and his mental health. Okay, side note, I added this because of this cute comic series I found on Instagram by It's Jaioli, called Cartman in the Middle. It's seriously so precious, and go check out the artist, link in the bio. Like, oh my days, it is some good soup, I tell ya. Addicted to Animal Crossing and The Sims, and he has made his dad and unalived him on multiple saves. Now we're on the last character for this video. That's right, I'll do the rest in my next video. But if you want a head start, you can join my Patreon, where the next batch is already chilling and waiting patiently to be viewed for only $1 a month. Sorry, I broke my promise about self-promoting. To make it up to you, I'll flash the next batch on the screen real quick. Don't bother pausing, I blurred the pictures because otherwise you wouldn't come back for the next video and that would make me sad. I worked hard on these, the least you can do is watch my video. It's Clyde. Our boy Clyde is here. Other than Cartman, he was one of the more drastic costume changes. I kept his Letterman, but I have it unbuttoned for what I assume will be a white shirt underneath, or maybe it'll be blue, I don't know. Then I cuffed his pants and added some Vans, as one does. In Season 4, Episode 2, Cartman's Silly Hate Crime 2000, Cartman is replaced by Clyde as the next fattest kid, to which he denies the whole episode, and it's not like we can really tell since he has the same model as the other boys. So is it true? Who knows, and who cares? I made Clyde a bit chubby, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry, I choked. I made Clyde just a generally bigger guy. I can't really see him as lean and ripped, so he's just a big dude. He also has the acne, which I talk about in the notes that we will read now. On the soccer team, goalie/wing, in a consistent relationship with Bebe, Bebe does skincare on him to help his acne, pays a Photomat subscription because he refuses tutoring, exclusively wears Hollister, uses way too much Axe body spray, and this was a last-minute note about him being on the football team. I feel like that's obligatory. I also drew a little dino plush that I like to think is weighted and scented to help him sleep or relax in general because of what happened to his biological mom in the Great Flush of 2012. But with that being said, that wraps up- wait. Yo! I don't know how this slipped past me, but Clyde had a colostomy, and there's a rumor that- ooh. Well, I hope he finds it, poor kid. Anyways, that just gave me more ideas for his character in this AU, so yay, research! I hope for those of you who stuck around enjoyed this introduction to half of my South Park AU. I do claim the rights to the AU, the designs, writing, and concepts that I created are original depictions based off Matt Stone and Trey Parker's South Park, which I do not claim any ownership of. That would be super cool though. Fan art is appreciated and encouraged, and don't forget to send me your self-inserts and OCs. You can find my email in my About page, or you can DM me on any of my socials, preferably on Instagram, Patreon, Ko-Fi, or Kara though. Once again, thank you all so much for sticking around. I'm very excited for this project, and I hope you all enjoyed as much as I do. Anyways, love you guys. Now roll the outro.